What we got? What is
Oh
up,
yeah,
man? How goes it?
it is going good. Finally able to move around again. Been like
Yep,
not
yep.
things laid up, but feeling much better today. Whole new hope, whole new aspect on life today. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna be able to move again,
So, how did you actually do that?
dude. I don't know. I it was honestly it was probably me just doing something silly outside, chasing after the quill, dive bombing them, trying to catch them, thinking that I'm 16 and not 37.
That'll do it. Not stretching, not exercise. It's amazing because,
Yeah, we could definitely add that on top of that, the not
yeah,
stretching and exercise.
well, your brain says one thing and your body says another thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So, your brain will say, "Oh, I can do that. I can jump that. That's a little ditch."
Uh-huh.
And then, like mid jump, gravity take over and you get wet.
Yeah.
But anyway, we want to go ahead and dive into the show. I'm glad I got you on. For those of y'all piling in, kind of wait for everybody to tap in. Y'all can catch it on the replay, how y'all do. But today we got Tommie from Silver Creek Aquatics. So before we just jump into stuff,
Hmm.
I took a hiatus from live streaming for personal reasons, and it just wasn't, you know, it wasn't my thing at that time. But as y'all know, we do the stream Fish Plenty Moss over on that channel with Jorge, and it kind of got me back into the shape. It got me back in the shape of being able to get on a live stream and have a show. So, with that, we do have a series going over on Fish Plenty Moss right now. Uh, we're kind of delving into native wildlife, native aquatic life, native fish that you can keep in your aquarium. So if y'all want to go check that out, if it's something you're interested in, head over there. It is Fish Plants Emas. Throw that in the chat for y'all real quick.
Yeah, okay. I was about to do it.
Oh, well, have at it. So with that, I'm structuring these live streams to have my guest show who they are and give them a space to really dive into what they do, because I think that we owe that to each other, to have a platform where you get to show, because there's only so much you can put in a video. There's only so much you can convey when you're talking about a neon tetra or Luigia palustris versus Luigia repens, or any of those things. And when I approached Tommie about it, I told him what my goal was. He was all about it. He was like, hell yeah, I'll do that. So thank you for that, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And with that, I wanted to set a certain tone of setting a standard. Basically, just lead by example, just show. So with that, we're gonna ease into this, and we're really gonna give the guest, hey Sketty, how you doing? I want to give the guest that fulfillment. Let me frame it this way. We all articulate differently, and everybody has their different things when they do their live streams, and that's perfect. But I often feel like when I see guests on other people's live streams that there's this unfulfillment, like, it's anticlimactic, if you will. And I kind of want to give you guys, my guest in the future that I will have as well, I want to give you guys that opportunity to get your nut, for lack of a better way of saying it. This is my stream. Y'all know what y'all signed up for. So with that, Tommie, thank you. I want to welcome you, friend, to the show. If you would introduce yourself and let's get started.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And thank you for having me here. It's an honor, man. Absolutely. Didn't think this was going to happen because I knew who you had planned out first. And sorry that didn't work out, but I was glad I was available for it.
No, this is great.
Yeah, my name is Tommie. I live in about 4 hours north of Steve here, up on the far west side of Fort Worth. It's not actually in Fort Worth, but it's a little further west than that. Out in the county lines. Born and raised out here. Loved it. Grew up on a large farm around a bunch of ranchers, big dairy farmers, cattle ranchers. I mean, some of the biggest invest in the area from out here, and it's where I grew up. And I went through life in general up until had got to a point where I had my hand injury. This happened on a table saw when I was 16 years old. It was the summer of my sophomore year in high school, and got in a hurry. That's what kids are good at, getting into a hurry. And popped my hand on the table saw. That kind of set me back a little bit, but it gave me a lot of time to think and reflect and learn a lot of things. And it also gave me a lot of opportunity to become more and more socially awkward too. But moving from that, went to work. Ended up with a family, and once that happened, kind of kicked into my mind. This little switch kind of clicked. This isn't going to stop me. This isn't going to hold me back from doing things. Before I even actually got with my wife, before I would even settle down or anything with her, I took a little bit of a break. A self break to kind of figure things out. You're like, okay, what do I have to do? What does it mean to become a man? What does it mean to become responsible and all of these things? How do I apply that to my life? Because I'm not ready for this.
Right.
I mean, I wasn't at all, but I knew I wanted it. And when I met her, I knew right then, knew it was going to happen. I was like, I got to fix myself. So did that, got much better paying jobs. She motivated and helped me to end up moving into even better paying jobs from there, and got to the point now where we were able to move after moving into the city. It's not really the city, but what I would call the city from where I'm at. After moving there for about 3 years, leaving the countryside, it hit me. I was like, this isn't me. I was like, I like it. I like the game. I like the push. I like the sales, they get that close, I like that thrill. And I think I always will, but it wasn't calling to me anymore. And me and my wife both ended up coming up with the idea of coming back out to the country. And we did. I was able to make some really, really smart investments at the time. Thank God I had a wife that was the powerhouse behind that. I'm the spender. She's the savers.
Okay.
But we ended up making a really good buy on a house, living there for a couple of years, flipped it, made huge wad of cash for Hip National. And I took all of that money, came back out to the country, out here to where my parents are. We're on about 4 acres. And my dad had a really bad car accident. Neither of them were able to really move around or anything. So we came back, moved out here. Luckily, we still had space, was able to come out here, was able to help them out with everything that was going on, and just immediately transitioned back into farming, homesteading, growing plants, cultivating the earth, cultivating all forms of life that we can. And after being here for we're on 6-7 years that we've been out here in the spot that we're at right now, which it wasn't supposed to be. I built the tiny house is what I did. All that money that I made from the house, I built me a tiny house because it was going to be my contingency plan. I was like, all right, we're going to get us a house. I'm going to build this little cabin. We can live in the cabin for a little while we're building the house. Then the big C word happened. Oh, COVID happened. And I'm glad I built the cabin because it's paid off.
Right.
And it's our thing that we have right now.
Yeah.
But,
so like with that, you know, we come here and in the commercials, I said that we're going to have a serious conversations. And one of the things that you've been talking about nonstop since you started is your family. And before, you know, you went into talking about your family, let's go into this, but let's go into the injury, how that impacted you. How did you deal with the trauma, the anxiety of it? How did you deal with being disabled, being different? And you know, because it happened early in your life and you have to deal with something like that and mature at the same time. So
Yeah.
if you want to share with us, you know, how did that affect you and how has that played into your overall sense of family? Let's kind of go into that for a little while if you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, it's something that I'm still working on. Definitely still have some symptoms of that trauma that happened. For a long time, I was just in denial about it. I was just like, okay, it is what it is, whatever. I mean, I had a really strong mind at that time, but gradually lost it. First few years after it happened, at least the first 2 years after it happened, I really didn't have any time to think about anything else because like every 3 months I was going in for, or every couple of months I was going in for another surgery or a reconstructive or a skin graft for them to pull parts from other parts to rebuild. It was crazy. I had a little skin flap that just fed a little bit of skin on my pinky just to keep it alive for like 6 months and had to like
as a teenager.
Yeah,
that's brutal, bro.
Yeah, it was pretty
and is this
nasty.
Your dominant writing? Is this your dominant hand or no?
No, it's my left hand.
Okay.
I'd gotten to the point where I was ambidextrous, but I wasn't born ambidextrous. I've had so many injuries in my life that I had to learn how to do it.
It could have been worse. At least it was a left hand. You don't need it anyway.
Right? I mean, that's kind of how I saw it at the time. And I was just going through the motions. After all the surgeries, it was physical therapy almost every day, occupational therapy almost every day. So I didn't really have time to think about how it affected me. It was just going through the motions. It wasn't until I tried to join the military that it really got me, because that was the first thing that I was told, hey, this is something you can't do. And I was like, really? I didn't take that very well. I did not take that well. I was like, I can't. Oh, yeah, I can't? Watch me.
So they said you have a disability. We can't take you type.
They didn't even claim it as a disability. Like still today, it's not even claimed as a disability. I wouldn't be able to get any
people
kind of.
Don't get kicked out for losing fingers, bro. I had 2 decades in the Navy. That's like part of the job. I got plates, screws, all kind of shit.
Yeah, this was in 2002. I think. So it was right after, right after
9/11, bro.
Yeah, right after all that started with 9/11. That was when the money was way up there. But yeah, I'd gone through all of the motions, taken the ASVAB, dealt with that, went up to MEPS, had to do the physical up at MEPS, checked for my color blindness, stripped down to my underwear and did the duck walk and in a room.
Come on, man.
100 other men. Like, yeah, let's do this. Whatever. We're gonna be seeing a lot more than this of each other anyway. It's like, but the day that I'd gone up there to MEPS I thought I was actually going to be able to make it because I'd gone through the process of sending multiple waivers down to Austin. And I'm trying to remember, I think it was Staff Sergeant Pitsulka that came and grabbed me and let me know, hey, they're not doing it. They won't do it. You've got to send out for another waiver. They're not going to do it on this one. Really? How many is it going to take? So I sent out for that one and didn't hear back again for like another year and a half. So it was like a year and a half later that I tried to join that they finally were like, okay, hey, we're going to give this waiver another shot. Send us another one. It's like, I've moved on now, man. Like, you could have had me when you had me, but.
Well, I mean, that's what I was saying. Shit, you could join now. You could damn sure join. You could damn sure join now. But
they wouldn't let me in.
Yeah, but
that sign-on bonus was looking.
It had to happen that way.
It did,
because now you got their family now.
That's exactly it.
Let's go into that because that's the theme. And real quick, let me give some shout outs. Sketty Nona, hey, how you doing? Mexicali, what's good? Jorge Atkins, what's good with it? Garcia, what's good, Berto? So I appreciate y'all for pulling up. But so we're having this conversation, and we're talking about family and who you are. Because if y'all just pulling up, I want to give you guys, the guest that I have on the show, a chance to be that material expert, to establish that authority, to say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. Let me substantiate it. Because as I explained earlier, oftentimes when I consume media and it happens to be a live stream of any genre, oftentimes I felt like the guest really doesn't get to give that sense of fulfillment. So like I said, I want to make sure that the guest I have on my show, and of course you all, the viewers, effectively get to bust y'all nut. Live streams are anticlimactic because we don't know who's on the stream. So continuing in with your family, and then I want to jump over into the hobby aspect of it. How did it go from your family to the hobby? Kind of finish on one and touch on the other one if you could.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that quick. There was a lot of stuff in between, but I mean, typical stuff for 17 to 23-year-old, having fun. I mean, lived out in the country, so that stuff's kind of obvious. But the military thing did affect me because that was the first time I was told I couldn't do something because of an injury or because something that happened, and that's what shook me. Yeah. So since I couldn't do that, I got into martial arts, and I got into it deep, big time. It's all I did because I was like, all right, they ain't gonna make me a soldier. I'm gonna make myself one. So I did that.
Put a chip on your shoulder, safe to say?
Oh, yeah. Still do. I still do.
It's okay to acknowledge it. And it takes balls to acknowledge it because that's how we grow as people,
Yep.
I still have it. Yeah, it's okay.
Because like now I haven't trained in, oh gosh, it's probably been about 4 or 5 years since I've actually done some really, really good training like I used to. I credit that to my hip problem, the lack of flexibility, the lack of working out. It's made me to the point now where I'm avid about getting as much done as I possibly can, especially with my family. It's really pushed me to where I'm the type of person I can't sit still. Like if you didn't know me, you're going to be like, this dude he's straight up, he's a crackhead, man. Cause I'm always moving. I'm always doing something. I never sit still. I never stop. I'm always moving, and I have to, because the moment that I stop, the moment that I sit still, like those thoughts, they still go through my head like, hey, you're slowing down. Remember, they told you couldn't do it. They're winning. They're right, because you can't, and you're not right now. So like I battle that a lot still today, not just with the
Intrusive
military.
thoughts, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, and everybody's gonna have them. I mean, everybody's got to
Thank
fight
you,
their
Sketty Nona. You have a good weekend too. Have fun with the grandbabies.
Oh yeah. Everyone's got those thoughts in their head. Everyone has that devil, that inner demon inside that we've got to put in their place on the regular occasion. If we don't do it, it takes hold. It really does. Don't give him any leeway, y'all. You kick his ass and tell him who's boss.
It's cool that you bring that up, bro. Like, because it was getting dark there for a minute, and it still is, but I said we were going to have an uncomfortable conversation, and I'm uncomfortable right now. So, like, God damn, dealing with that, bro.
Mm-hmm.
These intrusive thoughts, somebody telling you can't do something, you know? Because I know people are like, well, what the fuck does any of this have to do with the hobby? And what are you doing, Steve? You know what I'm saying? Well,
a lot.
Pay attention. You be still.
It has a lot to do with the hobby.
So, and then like you deal with these intrusive thoughts. You're then in turn shapes who you are because of a trauma. You know, your family is important to you. Now you have your own family.
Yep.
All these years later.
That focus switches.
Right. So how do we go from that? Let's talk about the hobby. Because how do we go from this? And what we're going to find out. I want to know, how do we go from this to corporate sales to going back home to help, to be around your people to help them because they getting up there and living off the land, on some little house on the prairie type shit. Like I really want to know. I want to give you a chance to tell me the evolution of that. So the hobby, how did you get into the hobby? What's good? C-Lo, that's one of my Navy buddies.
Oh, heck yeah.
Bro. Yeah, that's my brother right there.
It ties into the hobby quite a bit. After I came out here, after we built this house, we didn't have a house payment, and I'd gotten a small little job and lost. They ended up going out of business. And my wife said she wanted to work. Yeah, I know. Weird, right? Weird. But I was like, well, I mean, we don't have a car payment right now. We don't have a house payment. We really don't need a lot of money anymore. I was like, and we have everything here that we can utilize to save and offset money if something does happen. So she's been working now for 4 years.
For real?
Which has left me at home doing homeschool dad and taking care of all of the animals and stuff like that.
I'm gonna ask you, bro. Like, what's that like? People give you shit. How did you deal with? And dude, this is maturity. But let's be real. You got some ignorant people like you at home. Literally, it's like old Yeller. But you the mama, and your wife went to town. You feel me? So
no, it's weird.
What's the dynamic, bro?
It's not normal. Well, okay, so the reason that we did that was because she was homeschooled and has a big mental stigma about being homeschooled in her head.
Really?
We didn't want to do public school. We tried public school for 2 to 3 years, and they failed. Like, boom, second, third year, failed. Like, absolutely failed our children. I won't get into that, but she didn't want to do it. She was like, I don't want to teach. She was like, I did not like my homeschool and the upbringing from my homeschool. She was like, so I'd just rather not be a part of that. I was like, okay, so if we're doing homeschool, I'm the one that's gotta be here. I was like, so she was like, yeah, I get to work. It's my turn. I was like, okay, you've been the stay-at-home mom for the last 7, 8 years. Haven't had a chance to work, haven't had a chance to get out or anything. So I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's try it. Whatever. I'm down. I'm down to try it. It sucked. It sucked because like I was saying earlier, how I'm that kind of person that's got to
go crazy.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, I respect you, bro.
You
got my respect. You did that. I respect both of y'all for being adults and making it work. So salute to y'all for that. Like, damn everybody else, bro. If your kids are happy, you and your wife are happy, y'all camp running smooth, fuck everybody else, bro. So yeah, I salute you for that.
It takes a hell of a partnership to be able to pull it off, especially when you do reverse things like that.
Right.
And she jokes about it too. Like she will, I mean, my wife's got thick skin. She's got thicker skin than I do even. So I mean, she can handle giving shit with everybody, but she will give it right to me too. And I love it, man. I'm like, yeah, she knows how to fire me up. She knows how to like flip them buttons, but those are the buttons that are like, you know what? She's right. I gotta push harder. I gotta go a little further. I gotta stop acting like the little house bitch.
Right. So you being at home, is that when you got into the aquarium hobby?
That was the reason.
When you were a kid, like what's that?
It was because I was home. I was losing my grip on everything. I was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not being productive. I've got to do something for me as well, because this is my life just as much as it is everybody else's life. I was like, I've got to find something for me. That's why I got into the hobby. I mean, we originally got them for the kids for Christmas one year. I think it was this tank right here actually was the first one we got for the kids for Christmas. And my wife's told me, because we'd kept them before, but they only lasted for like a year. I had no clue what I was doing. Right. She said, all right, if we're going to do it this time, she was like, I don't want our fish to die in a couple of months. Learn everything you can. So I did. I went online and learned everything that I could and got sucked in. I was like, there's a bunch of nerds on here that like all of this crazy stuff about fish. I'm in. I love it. So I dove in head first, then found out about the plants and found out the relationship between, the fish and the plants and how they work terrestrially and submerged and how that all ties into everything else that I was already doing out here on our little tiny homestead. So, I mean, it really tied in perfectly with what we were doing. And I really like that. It's helped me to keep my focus on other things, even when there's not anything to do. Like, especially right now with me laid up because of my leg. If I didn't have these fish, if I didn't have the paintings that I do all over the place, if I didn't have that stuff to keep me busy, I would be going insane.
See, so
absolutely would be going nuts.
You a hobbyist in the true sense of the word, because this is literally some shit for you to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's saving my mind.
Right. So you said you dived in. Cool. So when you dived in, what you see first? Where did you dive? Where did you go? What was your resources? Like, what shaped your viewpoint?
Right.
What gave you your ethos?
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So at first, I mean, just like with a lot of people, you type in, how do I do this? Or how do I fix this filter or whatever? And you find the guys like KG and Aquarium Co-op and
the biggins.
All the biggins.
Yeah.
So I learned from them, and I looked at that too, because I was like, okay, they've got this many subscribers versus this person that has this many. It's like, I'm gonna listen to them. But then I started doing some of my own research too on the side, not saying like they're wrong or any of those people are wrong. I'm not gonna do that.
We're objective here, bro. You're good.
But I started learning different methods, different ways. And I was like, aha, so it's not just I have to have gravel, I have to have this filter, I have to have this, I have to have the polishers, the Purigen, like everything, all these types of media inside of my filter. I didn't have to have all of that. I was like, you mean I can save money and enjoy this as well? So that's kind of where I went in, was how do I make this effective and self-sustained or self-sufficient? in the best way that I can. So that's what really pushed me into it, because I was able to apply my same tactics from homesteading
Okay.
into the hobby as well. So it's like, how do I save this money?
All right.
Especially now that a lot of people nowadays don't have all the extra money and stuff as well. So it's just like, that's what pushed me.
Okay, see, and that's the tie-in, right? What's up, Renee? And Wizzle just checked in.
Yeah.
So,
Something
P Game, I want to see this, right? Because, and we're going to talk about the homestead later on, but is your background agriculture? Is your background like, did you grow up in the sticks and y'all was like country as fuck? Or you metro, you from the city, or you Texan like me, you cosmopolitan, you a little bit of both. You know, you got aunties and shit in the country, everybody else in the city. Like, how y'all was?
I've lived in it all. I grew up in the sticks. I grew up on 172 acres. It was a mile-long driveway, way up, like one of the highest peaks in our area, which, I mean, it's Texas.
You
so
172 acres, you say?
Yep.
That sounds like a damn plantation.
It was pretty big. There was multiple people that lived out there. The guy that we didn't own it. The guy that owned it was actually a Marine buddy of my grandfather's. They were in the Marines together in World War II.
Okay.
So it was kind of one of those. He gave us I think it was like one of those. He gave us a really good deal on being able to stay at the property for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So because he was like, "Hey, this is family." So
that's how it go. Okay.
Yeah. So he had a bunch of cattle, and all of his friends were all ranchers. Talked to you about RJ Smiley, the Smiley Farm, the dairy farm out there. That was one of them that was right here in our area. Clarence Bodkins, rest in peace. He just passed away recently, almost 100 years old, man.
These are all cowboys?
These are all old school cowboys.
Ranchers, yeah.
Okay. These are ranchers.
So you grew up around that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah. As soon as I was old enough to hold a shovel, they threw one in my hand, put my ass in the back of a grain truck and said, "Hey, the spreader isn't working. Spread it by hand."
Gotcha. Okay. So is it safe to say when you went in, you dived into the hobby, you dived into media, you started and you seen who you see,
mm-hmm.
You know, SEO did its job and the biggins pop up. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Mm-hmm. No big deal. So is it safe to say that as soon as you saw that it was a way to sustainably keep aquariums that kind of correlated, lined up more with what you were used to, is it safe to say that's what kind of drew you toward this side of the hobby, you know, the natural side, the plants, what you do?
Right. It was Fish, Planty, Moss, you, and Father Fish.
Oh, wow.
It was y'all. I mean, the three of y'all, Uncle Lou, you, and Jorge, talking about that stuff a while back ago. And I was like, hey, I don't have to be a part of the system. I don't want to be a part of any system anyway. I'm the guy that flips the bird to the system, whatever system it is. So
there's no system.
It's like, this is my way out of the system, and to flip a bird to it and figure out some things my own way, taking the information that everybody else has given me, which, I mean, really, I haven't. It's just it's y'all stuff.
I mean, there's no system, Tommy. I mean, I'm just not into killing fish for clout. That's all. Like, I don't want to keep the bastards around. So, you know, I look, this is my philosophy. When I set up a tank, I think at it like this. I don't have to live in the motherfucker. They do. So I try to make it as comfortable as possible for them.
Yeah.
And
like
it just so happens it's pretty too. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to live in it. But going into that, so plants, how did you get into plants, man? What got you into plants?
Love growing stuff. Have always loved growing stuff. When I was young, real young, I'm young still, but when I was a bit of a wee lad there, knee high to a grasshopper, I would just go out. My idea of fun was running out into the woods and finding what I could find, checking out the plants, learning what poison ivy was, figuring out
Okay.
what chiggers was, and, and learning how to get close to animals and try to be their friend. Like that was what I always did. I mean, I'm straight up country boy, man. I mean, put me in the woods, I'm happy. But I mean, that's really why.
I did the same thing. You preaching to the choir. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I wanted to bring that outside inside. I couldn't stand not being outside. Like even today, my wife complains all the time. She's like, "You're never in the house." I'm like,
say that again. Run that back by for the people, man.
My wife complains about it all
No,
the
you
time.
the outside inside part.
Oh, yeah, I need to bring the outside inside because I don't like being inside. I like being outside.
That's
So
my whole thing right there. I bring outside inside because
surround yourself by what you love.
I mean, shit.
I mean, that's really what it is.
We in a drought, but it's green in here. It ain't green out. It look better in here than it do outside.
Yep.
You know,
so on those days where it's too hot for you to go outside, you can still enjoy and see that and be like, "Hey, I got this stuff protected."
I see some green. I'm okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So, aquarium plants.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on it? How do you feel about it? Let's talk about it.
Yep. I would not have a tank without plants, live plants. That's not to say you can't do it. You can. If you have the time to be able to put into a tank to nurse a tank that much without it, that's fine. But I love them. Once I started using a deeper bed and started adding a crap ton of plants to a tank, I stopped having problems. I stopped having to buy this product and buy that product and, spend countless hours researching and doing this number right here, trying to figure out what my next step is. And it was just like all of it went away and it fixed it in one quick swoop. Sorry, I was pushing buttons on my phone when I did that.
No, I'm laughing because I'm thinking of this meme I saw because something you said triggered this thought. But bro, plants can see you, bro. And they're doing studies, bro.
Oh, yeah.
These things are alive and they fascinate me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, learning that they breathe and that they feel and that they have stimulant or response to stimulus.
Yeah.
All kinds of stimulus. And
they
then
can see, bro.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's science. It's still fringe.
But we're advanced, right?
Right.
They've advanced to be able to sit in one spot and be able to be completely content with their life in that one spot. We're still trying to figure that out.
Whoa. We're talking about something that Cook's son. Yeah, Renee, they are. Look, dude, the damn thing is a solar panel. It's a literal organic solar. Like, it takes energy from the sun.
It's freaking magic.
The heat causes electrons to move, which basically boils water, and it just separates the molecules of oxygen and sugars, which is the carbon. It moves sugar. It's crazy.
That and then the waves off of it, waves from the sun vibrating and
causing. Yeah, that's what I'm in it. And it splits them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know, man. I mean, in the hobby, there's a lot of misinformation. It's feelings, bro. This thing, it is a hobby. So you have empirical data and then you have feelings. And then I'm always like that. I'm like, well, shit, how you feel versus how it is night and day. And unfortunately, with this internet thing, people have this uncanny, we like to deify motherfuckers and shit. I like the guy. I don't know why, but I do. I just do. And people do that. It's cool. We pack animals. It's a visceral thing to like motherfuckers. It's okay.
Yeah.
But information is just that. It's information. So going into it, you know what I'm saying? When you talk about plants, you say you would never have a tank no more without plants. And then you were talking about a husbandry methodology, which was when you started using deep substrate that you stopped having problems. And that's why I started laughing, because that's what made me like remember, like they can see. It's like Avatar, right? I was going to ask you, have you gotten to the point yet where you understand plants?
Some of them. Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like to where, like, cause I'm there with fish, man.
Where you're having a proverbial conversation with them.
Well, no, not even. Well, bro, that's some weird shit that I'm not going to admit to on camera, but we'll talk about that later. What I'm talking about is in the terms of structure, making yourself better, empowerment. So in the terms of empowerment, right? Like to where somebody could give me some shit that I ain't never seen before, I ain't never laid my fucking paws on in my life. But because I understand plants, I might not know where it is, but research-wise, I know where to start.
Yep.
I'm there with fish.
Yeah.
I'm there with a few things. So have you gotten to where you can understand them motherfuckers? Like, I don't know what that is. Let me look at it. To where it's like, it's waxy, but that don't necessarily mean it's a succulent. Or it's fluffy, but that don't necessarily mean it's a cactus. Like, you know, it's got the structure
this one
like
grows
this.
From a rhizome, so it's going to be like other plants that grow
right.
from a
rhizome. And then come to find out, you put water on it and it rots immediately.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah. Or
but that's nuance.
It's
neither here nor there, but like, do you feel that way?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, granted, I'm not going to sit here and say I've seen every single plant, so I know what every single freaking plant on the planet's going to do. But I mean, if somebody brought me a plant, like what you were saying, if somebody brought me one, I could be able to look at the plant, identify enough about it to know, okay, this is what it's going to need for the most part. And then what I don't know, I usually just bother you about.
Yeah, that too. See, that understanding is a good thing. We're going to build on that because you homestead, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how, if you don't mind telling the people, like what age group are you in?
I'm an 86 model.
You're an 86 model.
1986. I'm 37 years
37. Okay. So you're in your late 30s.
My wife, I'll not say her age, but I will say she has just entered her 30s.
Okay, so y'all are a young family. Okay. Yep. In y'all's mid 30s. Yep. Averaged. Peak game.
Yep. Averaged.
How in the hell do you go from high school to basically being a fucking farmer before you're 40 with kids, homeschool? Like how?
That goes back to the first topic, family. 100%. I thought I was going to lose them.
Really?
Or I thought I had lost them. Not in like somebody did something wrong or anything like that. No, and I've touched on this a couple of times too. It's I still remember, and it haunts me still, coming home and my two daughters, which are 13 and 12 now, but when they were 4.5 and 5, I had come home one day and they had no clue who I was. I walked in and they looked at my wife and was like, "Mommy, who's that?" And that ripped me. It tore my soul out of my
God damn,
body.
boy.
And it took a long time for it to feel like that's starting to come back. So when that happened, I was just like, I'm done.
I know how they feel, boy.
I'm checked
That shit,
out.
yeah, I know how they feel.
It hits you, man. It hits you.
Yeah,
It hits hard too.
I remember I come home from the deployment one time, and my second son, little dickhead that's sitting there now, I love him with all my heart. He was like a monster. He was like a monster now, because I have a uniform on, I have a seat bag and shit, and I was at the airport. And walking in, it's like on TV, bro. I ain't gonna lie, they fuck with your head, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like the worst look, mail day, leaving, coming home, getting out, transferring, important shit, right? In the military, them things is important, all right? Let it fuck around and be mail day, and they don't call your name. All right. The first few times it happened, it's cool. But I promise you in that email, it motherfuckers like, what in the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot? Like, I'm gonna need some snacks, some letters, go to the Dollar Tree, get me some shit. What the,
Yeah.
So you got that. It resonates. So I came home and my oldest son, he was older. I think he was like, oh Jesus, 7. I want to say 7, maybe.
The fun age, yeah.
7 or 8. But so he already knew what time it was. Hey, daddy, trying to make it just like on TV, bro. Because they rah you and tell you all this shit and get checks. It's the whole thing. It's a show. And then he little in the stroller. I go to get him. And he's like, no, monster. He wouldn't, So yeah, because I'm always gone. So that hurt.
And
I know what
probably
you mean.
had a bunch of stuff you were carrying with you, so much bigger and broader and wider. Yeah, thinking like a kid. Yeah,
right. But, so you almost lose your family. Then Homestead, how?
Well, in that same day, that same night, when I became checked out on everything, I mean, I was running through the motions for a couple of months, and I was just stopped selling pretty much altogether. Like I would basically just do car deals that landed in my lap because my head wasn't in it. All I was thinking about was, how do I get my daughter to recognize me? That's like all I could think about. It kept me up at night. I was like, this isn't right. This isn't cool. I come home every night, even if it's, sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning from having to work so late, but I was like, I come home every night still, and they don't know who I am. So I ended up losing a lot of money, but we were at the position with that house that I was able to sell it. So that's how I was able to make that money to build what we have out here. So I was like, okay, this isn't working out. We're going to have to find something else. My parents had that accident. So I was like, okay, what if we went out there? What if we went out there? Or actually my wife did. It was her idea. She's like, what if we go out there and just put a house on that property or build a house on that property? I was like, you're okay with that? You're not gonna feel like, you're the 30-year-old still living with your parents? She's like, no, we have our own house. So that's really how that came together. Completely checked out, was not making the money that I should have been making because I couldn't even think about it anymore. And had the opportunity to sell the house, and I'd had enough done on the house and updates to make the money. So we did that. We built it out here, and it just all kind of happened. I mean, once we were back out here, I was just like, hey, what about, getting chickens?
Yeah, I'm about to say when the animals came.
Yeah. She was like, okay, yeah, we could do chickens. She fell in love. I mean, my wife fell in love immediately, and not
Man,
just
it'd
with
be
chickens.
so cool when your old lady like your idea. And you know what? It'd be some bullshit too, because all the ideas we think that they're gonna be like, no, that's stupid, or we just don't want to hear, so we don't say nothing. They be
Yep.
wanting to do all that shit. So,
Uh-huh.
fellas, your wife with you because she with you. If it's some shit you want to do that you think she ain't gonna go for, I'm pretty sure she want to do that shit too. So just try it. I'm not giving relationship advice. I'm just saying that's been my experience.
Or at least find a way to ease them into it.
Yeah. So you got chickens. Then
She
what
went
came after that?
She went bird crazy after that. She wanted every bird she could. We found out about quail, and she wanted every type of quail there was. We ended up getting pigeon, dove.
Okay.
Found peacock, and we had peacock for a while there.
I want a peacock. They too noisy though. I live in
They
Metro.
are.
I live in the
love
city.
it,
I
though.
can't have no roosters either.
You walk outside, you hear that, and you're like, I just walked into the jungle. Hell yeah, I love it.
You ever ate a peacock?
No, I've eaten their eggs, though.
What they like?
If you ever get the opportunity to eat a peacock egg, do it. 100%.
I just don't want to pay for them because it's still a novelty to me. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and depending on where you get it from, they can be pretty expensive.
Yeah. So y'all got birds. What else kind of animals do y'all have? Let's talk about the garden. Give the people an overall, give us a visual, an audio visual tour, if you will, of what you got going on in the homestead.
Okay. On one end of the property, our property runs north-south, direct north-south. On the south end of the property is my parents. On the north end, probably about 40 foot from the fence line, is our house.
Right.
And between the house and the fence line is where I'm growing. I had a much larger area that I was growing on, but I had so much. It was like enough food for like my whole town. I went crazy. I went way too crazy. I started learning some new methods from following people and went crazy on it. But I started getting into that just because I saw the writing on the wall, man. I saw the writing on the wall, the way things were going in this world a long time ago.
Okay.
And, everybody at first was all, hoorah, whoop, 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 all excited for me. Hey, yeah, Tommie, that's great. You're going to do this. That's so cool. I wish I could do that. That's so awesome. Then I get out here and do it, and they're like, dude, you're just like some kind of nut. You're like some extremist, just crazy.
Yeah, he's a crazy right wing.
Crazy right wing.
Skinhead, racist son of a bitch.
Yep. Got lumped supporter. Lost all but like one or two of my friends because of it, just because their assumptions started happening. And I was like, whatever, you can believe what you want. I don't support anybody except my own family. I was like, that's all that matters to me.
I'm sorry you had to deal with that bullshit, man.
It's whatever. I had one buddy that I even tried to let him know. I was like, look, dude, I was like, I want to be your friend. We're like brothers. I was like, but you can't talk politics with me, bro. I was like, I'm not buying what you're putting down. We just gotta, if we're gonna be friends, we gotta avoid that topic. Because he just wanted to sell me some side, and I'm like, dude, I'm not on. When
people see you grow, sometimes they can't grow with you, and you gotta learn how to love them from a distance, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, and I still do.
That's all you can do, man. Yeah. So something that, because we're on animals and stuff, and you're talking about you lost your family, your daughter didn't know who you was. And that gave me the thought of dinner, right? Men been working since men been men. Somebody done had to bring home some sustenance. That's just how it worked. I'm not trying to get socio-political, but somebody done had to bring home the bacon, figuratively speaking.
Right.
But the way it was structured was to where we could sit down, we could eat, there was no way in hell your family didn't know who was responsible for that chicken they were biting, or that water they were drinking, or that chair
Right.
they were sitting in, or the table they were sitting at. I'll be damned. And I don't care if it was a single parent home, 10 parents, a commune. I don't give a damn. There was no way. And it's really poignant that you said you lost your family, because you fucking did lose your family, bro. How in the hell your little girls don't know you're their daddy? You just some strange dude that lives there?
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So that was a big step to say, fuck it. You know, we got to go help.
I lost hold.
You know?
I lost hold of life
Yeah.
somewhere along the lines. I got to fix this now. I
Yeah,
got something
like,
to do.
and then boom, your parents have an accident, and through tragedy, there was a silver lining.
Mhm.
And I'm just saying, call it what you want to. Maybe divine intervention. Maybe your parents was on the trajectory too, and it put it to where all of y'all could sit y'all asses down some damn where and be a family. They get to be mama and papa. You know what I'm saying? They get to see them kids running around doing dumb shit, getting bit by ants and shit, you know, picking cucumbers and, you know, eating tomatoes and throwing it on the ground because it's hot, because it don't taste like the ones in the house. They don't,
Yep.
you know, they don't know they've been sitting in the refrigerator before they got sliced up. Like,
They get that field heat.
somebody did that. Something happened to make that way, you know? So,
Yeah, it completely turned it around. And
yeah, like, look at the fundamentals and how important they are. I got to grow up eating supper every night, and I tried to do it when I had a young family for a little while. And now, shit, we roommates. I got teenager, boy grown. You know, like, that is
asking you to make a sandwich. Like, make your
Yeah.
own sandwich. What are you talking about?
like, and I do. I love my sons. I don't give a fuck. I'll fix food. I cook.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. And sometimes I don't want them digging their little dick beaters in the food. So I make their plates, bro. They don't know how to serve. They'll get all, you know, fuck all that. Like, this is my masterpiece, bro. I done made this shit and took these pictures and put it on the Instagram. And that's another thing. I like to take pictures. Goddamn heathens. Let me get my pictures, say grace, and then you can eat. You don't just start lapping on the food like we in the chow hall somewhere in prison. But look at how, like, took that shit for granted, bro.
Yeah.
Now you over here on the farm, you got chickens, quail, birds. What other animals you got out there to eat?
To eat?
Yeah, what y'all do for meat?
Just the quail.
Okay. So how much sustenance do you provide yourself, and how much do you have to rely on the economy? Like, if you had to say a percent wise, how close to you to 0%, you know, basically full off gridness, sustainable? Because maybe some people thinking about getting into this. You feel me?
We still have internet, obviously,
Okay.
up here. So we definitely still have electricity. We have a community well. So we definitely are still paying. I mean, we're still paying. We still have all of those amenities that are there.
Okay.
Our big struggle, if everything was to be shut down, if the grid turned off at 5 minutes from now, our only would be power. I could figure it out.
Right.
But that's where we're lacking. Solar panels are really expensive here. I know there's like ads on Instagram all day long about getting free solar panels.
Bullshit.
It's a bunch of bull. It is.
Well,
you're buying another house.
Yeah, I got a hold. I'm not finna sit up here and push solar panels either.
Yeah.
That's buying the cat. That's buying the cat to kill the rat.
Yeah.
Because the snake didn't do it.
Yeah, I would make I'd find an alternator and make a windmill out of an alternator and have alternators linked up and build up and generate and charge up into my own battery cells. I would figure out a way. I would innovate and make a way to make electricity. I mean, 100%. I'm confident I could do that. But we don't. We're not completely off grid right now, and we are definitely foodies. Like, we like food.
Right.
We love food. So that's our biggest expense, really, is the food. If we wanted to, we could cut all of it out and pretty much just eat off of what we have here. With the drought we're having right now, vegetable wise, that'd be tough. But if that was also the case, I know how to grow that stuff inside.
How do you get water?
Easy. You can get water anywhere.
What's your water source now, though? Like, for the people, like, are you guys on a well, or do y'all got city water? Y'all got pipe water?
It's a community well, but we don't drink
it. Well?
Yeah.
So it's tapping into like an aquifer then, huh?
Right.
Which aquifer are you guys taking out of? The Trinity aquifer?
I'm trying to. I don't know. I don't know if it's the Trinity.
Y'all might be a little west of it, huh?
I think we're more west of it because the Trinity runs from Fort Worth and then goes down south or southeast, if I remember right. But it might be. I can't remember. Don't give me a line on that. But I know
but you got an adequate access to water.
Yeah, and then at the end of the main reason that I really wanted to come back here was for this. At the end of our road, even if that water went away, there's a 40 to 60 foot deep spring that never dries up.
Well, never say never, but that's badass. So let's talk about that. Let's get into the animal
years, I have not seen that thing dry up.
Well, you done mentioned it. The spring on your homestead. So you got your family back. Bravo to you for that. Dead ass, bro. And you did it young too. And I'm gonna say this shit. That should take balls, because we live in this poo-putt, booty-pat society of a bunch of fucking cowards. And at the end of the day, when you look at them, your wife, your kids, everything, they under your umbrella of protection. They trust you. There is a non-verbal, non-spoken contract that y'all enter into when you become a family. What's going on, Jeff? Like, there's a unspoken contract that you enter into. You a husband, you a father. They looking at you, they trust you. So it takes a lot of balls, especially in this society now, to go against the grain, walk the path that's least traveled, and say, hey, fuck what y'all talking about. You and your wife have to do what's best for our family, for our daughters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I applaud you for that, because that shit hard to do, especially now, bro.
Yeah.
Status quo is probably more important now than it has ever been in the history of humanity, because of this thing we own right now. We can see, there's no more privacy. We see everything. And we've been conditioned to want to show everything. We don't even think about why we do what we do anymore. We just run it through the peanut gallery. Let me put it on the internet and see what they say. Well, damn, do you know why you doing it? Like, I always say, I stopped doing what was cool a long time ago. Now I just do what I like. So going back to the spring.
Yeah.
Y'all over there, like I said, you got your family back. Y'all straight. You got this fucking 40 foot, 60 foot deep spring that never dries. Is there wildlife in this spring?
Oh, yeah.
Give us a layout of this spring, if you would.
Well, I'm going to be showing it soon.
Okay.
As soon as fall hits, I'm going to be going down there live, because I'm not exactly sure of what all is in there. I've only been down to it and gone fishing once or twice since I got into the hobby, and I didn't know enough about cold water or native species. Actually, I didn't know anything except for, hey, that's a bass. Hey, that's a panfish or sunfish.
Right.
And that's a catfish. Like that was really all I knew. So now I'm really curious, knowing what I know now and having the resources to be able to reach out and identify of what is actually in it. Because I'm very curious to see what's made its way in there, because it's a huge spring. So there's got to be water coming from a bunch of different areas underground to get to that. So it's like, all right, how is this all connected? Yeah, but yeah, I'm definitely going to be showing that live. It's an adjoined system of creeks, and where they all merge. Well, not where they merge, because they merge into the lake, but before this spring feeds into our local lake, into Eagle Mountain Lake.
Okay.
It's one of the feeder springs that does it. It only really gets into the lake if we're having floods or there's an overflow and that spring water actually makes it into the creek system. But other than that, it's just all to itself. So it's pretty cool.
You said you got 3 species out there. I heard you say bass, perch, and catfish. And for you non-Texans, we call perch. When we say perch, we're not referring to the walleye family, the yellow perch, etc. We talk about sunfish, so bluegill, long-eared sunfish, dollar sunfish, bass, crappie, etc. Yeah, those. The Lepomis family, the Microptis family, those. So, what else did you get out of there besides that? And did you eat them since you killed them?
No, I haven't eaten a fish out of that spring in a long time. It used to be owned by our old bail bondsman for the city.
No shit.
When he was stocking it, we would eat out of it. Me and my buddies, we'd go catch some crappie or catch some sunfish.
Okay, so he was introducing fish into it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. When he was doing that, we would, but once he stopped doing that and he sold the property that it's on, it's actually on, I don't know, the government owns the property now, technically the city, because they've got the
they're fighting over that up there. They fighting over that water up there, that land up there.
Yeah.
A lot of y'all don't know this, but the store Buc-ee's, well, the owner of Buc-ee's is the commissioner for Texas Parks and Wildlife. That's how politics work down here. We live in a traditionalistic government. This is the status quo. Y'all Google it. This is government, idealistic. I'm not teaching class, but anyway, so they're introducing the fish in there. That spring will be a perfect place to do a case study on critical limit. So basically being able to naturally explain how an ecosystem, an environment can only sustain as much life per variables as the critical limit will allow it to, per the law of critical limit. So you have exponential growth, then you have linear growth, and once you get the linear growth, that's when you get the critical limit, because it's sustained. Like the exponential would be like an algae bloom because of runoff from fertilizer, or like the mosquitoes come, so you got a population bloom of gambusia and whatever else. But once that food source, the variable, goes away, those fish die off, and the critical limit has been reached again. Per that variable, linear growth comes back. So that spring will be a dope place to study. And we done talk. I'm coming up. I'm gonna pull up on you. That's what I do. So natives.
I'll have to show you. It's less than a half a mile from my house.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up. I told you I got a homie that live in Azle. So peep game. Since you kind of now, where you at? Nerding, full nerding. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Doing the shit we be doing. Told you, get your ass outside. Everybody get on some crocodile hunter type shit. Don't go catching nothing. Don't catch hot snakes. Don't do nothing that's gonna get you killed. But going outside, like being able to recognize shit on the fly in the field, muscle memory. Because this about you, about us. Like build that confidence, all that good shit. Real quick, hey Vibes, Mandy, what's up? Who else jumped up in here? I saw the homie Watts, Jeff, what's good? Jeff Kane. So now that you where you at in the hobby, what kind of animals have you seen that's interesting to us? Not that those other ones weren't, but like any keeper fish, like minnows, darters, natives.
That I have or that are in the area?
That are in that spring.
Oh, that I don't know yet. That's why I'm gonna go down there and find out. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna go down there.
Shit, you ain't indexed it yet.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna do it live.
Fuck. This will be great. All right.
Yeah, like I said, I've only been down there twice, but it was before I had any kind of knowledge at all of what was down there, and now I'm just like, I have to go. So okay. I mean, I know there's water moccasins. I know there's the red-eared sliders.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't think there's any of the snapping turtles down there, though the red-eared sliders will bite sometimes. It depends.
What else you seen in there?
Largemouth, bass, and I can't remember the name. They look just like a largemouth, but they're smaller, and it's not like.
Oh, you're talking about a rock bass or a warmouth?
Probably. It's got more of the rounded shape head.
They got red eyes?
I can't remember that. It's been too long. I can't remember the color.
That's probably, it ain't a crappie, is it?
There is crappie in there too.
Yeah, no. What color is it?
The crappie?
No,
or the bass.
You're trying to identify.
The bass, greenish yellow, black banding. Looks like a bass, but it doesn't have that squared off front section of a mouth. It's more rounded. So I guess a smallmouth bass. Could be a smallie. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Like the big fancy cichlids, their forehead goes down and then it just comes straight off.
Bro, yeah, that sounds like we call them goggle eyes down here. It sounds like a rock bass.
Yeah, it might be.
Or a warmouth. Yeah.
Spotted could be one of those. But yeah, it's been so long
since could be a spotted. What else you got in there?
There's the sunfish. There's all kinds of plant life in it, and no telling what else.
Plant life, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anything that you know off of your head?
Nope.
Nope.
Yep, that's why I'm excited, man. It's like fresh new territory to go in, and a lot of the people that would check these things in this area, the wildlife people that would go and do this isn't an area that
have access.
They wouldn't even know about it. I mean, unless they really know and zoom.
Loose lips sink ships.
Yep.
Because then you get motherfuckers over there, the skinny dipping in it and shit, putting trash in the water. People fuck up everything they touch, bruh.
Oh no, there's a group of people that live around this that guard this spring.
Okay, good. Yeah. Well, speaking of garden, and I didn't think we was gonna have time to do it, but it looked like we will. Because I have other stuff going on, y'all, for Labor Day weekend. Happy Labor Day, y'all. Absolutely. But conservation, man. We're talking about animals anyway. So how do you feel about it? Are you participating in it? Do you plan on doing so? And if so, tell us how. Share with us how.
I'm not directly involved with any type of conservation. I do my own part and try to spread that. And by doing our own part, we do it substantially. I'm definitely for taking care of anything. Like my whole life outlook, like if I was to sum up my mission statement in having a Biden moment here, sum up my mission statement in a few words, it would be to cultivate all life. At least I didn't say it was 2 words and said 3, but yeah. But to cultivate all life. So that's, I don't know.
I like that. Cultivate all life.
That's my main goal, man. That's what I seek
That's
to
heavy. I
do
like that.
with everything. It doesn't matter what it is. Like I want to be. We're a part of that life. God made us from the dirt. You know,
Right.
we're a part of the dirt. We're a part of everything that grows in the dirt and that picks and digs and squirms in the dirt. It's all a part of us. We're
You
not
know
just
what?
stardust. We're earth dust too.
Because I always throw people off, man. Because like we'll be talking and I'll be like, let's cultivate that. I want to cultivate that. You know, let's expound on that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like people, one of my homeboys, one of my mentors, one of my business mentors, like we was talking one day, he was venting to me about work. And he was like, man, you know what, Steve, one of the hardest things, like communicating, like via email, whatever. And you know, the dog eat dog world, you out there working and shit. He was like, man, you can't have conversations with people because bitches don't know the definitions of words. And then they get offended. And then it's like, who am I to be the dickhead to try to give them the information in you know, in lieu of possibly insulting them because they don't know the definition of a word.
Like almost creating your own straw man just by trying to, yeah,
Basically,
correct. Yeah.
like so all your human interaction now via proxy, you know? So
Yeah.
it's so true when you say cultivate all life. Cultivate does not necessarily have to correlate directly with growing some shit or raising something. It literally means putting
Response.
into place things necessary to foster an environment to let nature do what it already does.
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally like, it's already like cultivate. Let's build this environment for growth. That's
Right.
literally it.
Yeah.
So, like, that's dope, man. So,
My wife's gone a little bit more extreme than I have and has looked
how?
into, well, she's looked into certain species that live around the area and make sure that those species have what they need. Like I said, she's a bird freak, so she makes sure.
Habitat creation.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, well, the shit, dive into it. What kind of projects y'all got for that? Like, if y'all
Besides,
don't know, they got stuff going on, y'all. So when I say projects, I don't want y'all to just assume. Y'all go check him out at Silver Creek, but they got projects. So yeah, what kind of rewilding shit y'all got going on?
Well, besides the normal, like with birds and stuff like that, she's avid about them, making sure that every local bird in the area has exactly what they need and that it's put out. Some things she keeps separate, you know, just some, because we've got some invasive species around here. So if there's invasive species, there'll be some food over here and different type of food to fit, you know, fit for something else over in a different area. Always making sure that they have water as well. She's even growing specific plants for pollinators to come in. Then she found out there's a specific type of butterfly. I can't remember if it's on the endangered list or if it's on the what is it that's, if it's not endangered, it's
threatened, vulnerable, least concern,
threatened,
critically endangered.
But this type of butterfly survives primarily on one type of plant, and that's the passion vine.
Okay.
Passion flower vine.
Right. Yeah. I'm tracking. Maypops, whatever you want to call it.
I don't know what the name of the butterfly is. She does, but she'd bought these plants and watered these plants and took care of these plants just for these crazy looking spiky caterpillars to be able to tear it up so that these butterflies could keep on going. And they're cool looking too. They're really similar to a monarch, but on the underside of their wings, it's like pearl black and then blue, like you would get from like an electric blue Acara. So like that neon,
that nice iridescence.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up.
I
keep hearing noise, and it's this piece of Mopani wood in here. I'm doing gravity again. You know, I just throw sticks in there and let them bitches fall.
Yeah.
I mean, can't nobody decorate a tank better than, you know. But yeah, that's what. But no, bro. Like, I'm gonna Google them butterflies. So y'all are growing the passion flowers. Them are native to Texas, by the way. To the southeastern United States. If y'all got the same ones, what else? Species are y'all doing?
That's really it. We did have more out here. We had more rabbits, but with our dog, I've got 2 catahoulas.
Nope.
There's no rabbits around here.
Nope.
We used to have coyotes come up here. We used to have deer that would come and eat right out of the yard.
Yeah.
They're not anymore. I mean,
Dogs run everything off.
Yeah, but I mean,
and that's fine because like
have to
your immediate area, you kind of don't want too much because biointegrity is a huge thing. There's a lot of communicable diseases that, and you got avians, so you know, like biointegrity.
Yeah, we basically have to keep everything separated and locked up and fenced up in different areas. Right. So where she feeds the birds and the rabbits from is an area that is our garden that's fenced off that the dogs can't even get to. So the birds know and the rabbits know, hey, if they get in this area, they're fine. And the garden's in there, so the rabbits can have free range of what they want in the garden.
Speaking of which, right, because we built this conversation, and I think it's gone rather well. Talk about that. Talk about the ethical responsibility, right? You living off the land. You living in the woods. You raising animals, some of which don't belong here, some of which are a commodity animal. Mm-hmm. They're meat birds.
Yep, and invasive. I even have invasive.
That as well. So, talk about the responsibility, the ethical responsibility on the conservation side of biointegrity, keeping your immediate area. You need them dogs in there, but making sure that you got buffer area between your shit and the woods and different zones incrementally. Yeah. Because sustainability means that. And I kind of want to guide you a little bit. I had this conversation with one of my peers earlier this week when I was volunteering. A younger gentleman, a kid. He's a teenager still, and he was talking about being vegan and sustainability and Teslas and shit. You know, that whole thing. And I don't mean to generalize it, but for sake of conversation. And I was explaining to him that there's no means to the end, that shit is just as damaging as petrochemicals. And, you know, he was emotional, and I expected that. And I listened to him, though, because respect is paramount. Mm-hmm. And after I listened to him, I didn't tell him he was wrong. You don't never tell nobody they fucking wrong. I just showed him. I was like, well, do you know about all the mining that goes on in Africa? Do you know that this is basically a derivative of slavery? Do you know that the electricity that you plug up your Tesla in comes from petrochemicals? So what I'm saying is, if you do this much damage to get this much benefit, when we already have a system that we've mitigated and we're doing this much damage for this much benefit, what's the means to the end? Right. And he pondered on it, man. So with that, how are you guys ethically making sure that y'all just not faking the funk, you know, going through the motions and shit, but y'all part of the problem? That's the ethical part. And then the action part would be the conservation.
Yeah, a lot of people would say that too, especially if they found out that we had the ring-necked doves, because they're extremely invasive in this area, and I have over a dozen of them. But they free fly in an aviary that's, oh my gosh, 10 foot by 16 foot by 12 foot tall. It
Man, that big. That's pretty
Oh,
good
it's-
size, boy.
yeah, that's just the one for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's the dove and the quail in that one. I really would suggest people don't jump into anything like that. Don't just get an animal because you want an animal. You really need to look up, just like Mark was saying on Fish Planting Moss on the last one, like really do the research
Yeah.
on the animals that you're wanting to deal with before you jump into it. When we first got the ringnecks, I didn't know they were invasive. Once I found out they were invasive, I started taking extra measures. I was like, okay, so they need to be in this section. They need to have this much room. I need to make sure that they're being fed this, and I also need to go the extra steps and invest the extra money into making sure that there's no way they can escape.
Right.
So I have sections of the aviary. It's in total width, the thing's like 40 foot wide, 32 to 40 foot, somewhere in there wide, and then 16 foot deep. It's like an L shape. So it's 32 foot wide, 16, and then just 10.
Okay.
And I've got it broken off. So just like if you were going to go to an aviary that you paid to go to an aviary, you walk into a door, shut the door behind you, and you've got to open another door. I have sections cut off like that to keep certain birds from getting out that we don't want out, to make sure that even if one gets out one door, I can shut that, close it in, get them, put them back before I leave and take a chance of them getting out.
Right.
There's a lot of things in that nature. I'm not going to go over like every single little detail of each.
Right. I don't expect you
but
to.
Make sure that you are doing the research. Make sure that you're also checking your local guidelines, checking with the Parks and Wildlife Department in your area about these animals or these plants, whichever you're going to have in your area, to make sure that you have the ability and the time to take care of it. Because just like what you were talking about with the plants earlier, a lot of that is time. A lot of people, like you were talking about, putting all the crap on it, all the pesticides and the petrochemicals and stuff like that. People use it on plants too.
Yep.
That's because we got lazy. Because people don't want to have to spend 5 hours every single day going out there and searching through their squash plant for squash vine borers, or getting cicadas or grasshoppers or whatever it may be that's attacking your plants, getting all of that off and not having to.
You could just let the good Lord do it.
Oh, it'll all get eaten.
Yeah, run chickens, run sacrificial crops.
Yeah. You
beneficial predatory insects.
Yep.
But when you go in,
kill is a great.
And you kill anything, you throwing off the balance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I really like to.
It's still alive.
Yeah, I want to push thought. I'm not trying to knock nobody. We're not here to hurt nobody. But the analogy is this: have leadership or become it. I can't sit up here and say I'm leading anyone in anything, and short of listening for consensus, leading my people astray, because I'm sitting up here worried about everybody's feelings. Next thing you know, y'all getting picked off left and right like fucking fruit flies. And because y'all felt so strongly about how it should be done, oh, don't worry, bitch, you get to do it now. It's intrinsic because ain't nobody else left to do it. So I like to push that thought, what are you doing and why and how? Have you thought about how? Well, why are you doing that way? How? Well, what about this way? And you being objective, taking the emotion out of it and saying, well, shit, we all trying to get here. And of course, it's our stew. We all like to put our stank on it. I'm not mad at that. But giving you the platform to say, hey, I'm really doing this, and being able for you to put some substantiation into it. As creators, I think we owe each other that, because we talk a lot. Jorge knows. Jorge Shout out to you if you still in here, big homie. But Jay Watts, all the homies, y'all know who y'all are. They like, Steve, you need to start going live again. And I'm just like, bro, I just ain't about no bullshit. Like if I just want to chit chatty whoop de wop, call me. God damn. You know?
Yep.
But it's our responsibility as creators to get up here and provide, be of service. You feel me? So it really, I don't give a damn about none of that. Like, who cares? I'm up here on a Sunday. It's 2:00. I want the people to know who you are by the time you leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, what y'all really doing over there? How in the hell did you end up being a fucking farmer in your goddamn mid-30s, bruh?
Because flip the bird in the system.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And now that you did that, what's your methodology? What is the method to your madness? You know? Like, are you guys conservative?
A long time ago. I started a long time ago, man. Like,
really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, everything's going to come with age. So if you're of a certain age, you can remember. It's like I'm going to say a long time ago, but when it hits you, but just seeing the writing on the wall with how everything was going in the world, like even as an early teenager, before I even had my hand accident, I started seeing all of that stuff. Plus, you know, I'm a religious person, so I've read the Bible and read the warnings that are in there. So I've been watching for it too. But that's really that's really what drove.
I've been doing that. I've been in the Bible a lot.
Is because I didn't want to. I mean, outside of getting caught with my pants down, which I mean, nobody likes that feeling. I wanted security. To be completely honest, to break it down in the most simple form, it's all about security. I wanted the security of knowing that if this happens, we're good. If this happens, we're good. If this happens, we're good. So really the only thing, like I was saying earlier, the only thing that we're not good on is the electricity side.
Right.
Everything else, got this. I ain't worried.
Energy is the hustle.
Yeah.
And it's because of commodities. And it's psychological. And the easiest way to get everybody on the same frequency of thought is COVID. And it was almost like cringy. It was insultory. It was like insult to intelligence type shit to watch people on the internet on some come to Jesus type shit talking about, I ate dinner with my family. We played a board game. Oh, it just feels so good to just be home and just drink my coffee in my pajamas and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop-de wop, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, really? Bitch, you could have been doing that. You just didn't want to.
This whole time.
And you had to be forced to do things that you need. Some of these things are visceral things, and as human beings, as human organisms, like if a fucking dog need Alpo, we need shit too, certain things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it was kind of like head scratching for me to be like, motherfuckers had to be forced to be, I don't even like to use the word normal, to be whole, WHOLE. Had to be forced for that shit. Mm-hmm. So,
or feel like you have to fall in line with the person in front of you no matter what.
Compliance, you know. So that's what I'm saying. I applaud what you're doing, you know. Yeah, we know what you're doing, rocking out in the hobby, and the videos and the educational standpoint that you take when you're educating about plants, the deep dives that you did on some of the species spotlights, and blending ornamental art with naturalistic biotope methodologies, a nice hodgepodge, you know. So like we see that, we know all that, but we never really have gotten a chance to
The why?
No, the brains behind the madness of it. Like how? So I appreciate you for coming up.
It's
Yeah, I
pure
appreciate it, man.
unadulterated madness, y'all. That's what it is.
That's why I gave you that nickname, White Boy Tommie. Because I was like, if y'all don't know, I call White Boy Tommie because we was shooting the shit one day, I think on Instagram, and I was like, man, you a real Texan, bro. You remind me of some of my crazy ass white boy country friends, bro. Like crazy as hell. I was like, bro, you need a nickname. Because I was like, what's your last name? And you told me. And I was like, bro, I hate to inform you, but you're not white. He was like, what? I was like, no, you're not white, bro. He was like, bro, I'm pasty as fuck. I was like, no, bro. Geography, history, the Constitution, the 13th Amendment, the 15th Amendment, all that shit, land grants and shit. You're not white. You're not an Anglo-Saxon Protestant. You're ethnic, bro. And we laughed about it. Cause I'm a nerd, bro. Like, fuck it. So that's how I got the nickname White Boy Tommie, because it's funny. And it's an inside joke. But all jokes aside, I really do. I give you mad props for having the balls to do all this and walk the walk. Like, it's a lifestyle. It ain't to put on Instagram like, hey, we got eggs and shit. While these kids out here like talk about $8, $9 a dozen, you trying to give them away, figuring out like what y'all can do with them bitches for arts and crafts projects, because potato salad and deviled eggs only take you so far, you know. Yeah, I mean, I live this life too, you know.
Yeah. So I actually just got a thing set up with we got a feed store that's down at the end of the road. Well, not the end of my road, but the end of our road.
Y'all get them yard eggs?
Dude, I've been taking them. I took them 3 dozen quail eggs the last time, or time before last that I went, and last time I took them another couple dozen. They're like, man, we really appreciated that. Those were good. You know, we could sell these, right? It's like, but we don't know how much they sell for. I'm like, yeah, good luck finding that. I was like, some people try to sell them for almost $20 a dozen, and some people just sell them for $5 a dozen.
I'm about to say, bro, $5, you can't go wrong. Mm-hmm. Shit, all you gotta do is Google how much Whole Foods sell them in Dallas and go off of that.
$19.99 a dozen. All
right, cut the gas in the middle, call that motherfucker $7.25. We just did business. We ain't gonna talk shop on the internet though.
Yep.
I do need to jump off here though, because I got company coming. I know, right? But man, this has been a blast, and I want to thank everybody for coming up and rocking with us for 2. Y'all know we go long anyway, because I don't know how to shut the fuck up sometimes. But it's only the people I love. Seriously, people that know me know like I'm really rude. I don't talk to anyone. But nonetheless, I appreciate all of y'all. And again, thank you. Don't take what you do lightly, bro. Hopefully you leave today this experience fulfilled and you look at what you do differently, because again, I said this live stream, and I'm going to try to do this every Sunday. We'll try to normalize the schedule. We'll see how it goes, because I'll be busy. But the goal, the focus is this: to give you guests a platform, to cultivate a space for you to substantiate yourself as the authority in what you claim, because there is too many motherfucking charlatans on the internet speaking at people events and shit, but they can't give you can't even have a conversation with them and talk technical and talk shop without them getting offended, because they know they're full of shit and they lying, so they don't revert to I'm just saying they revert to emotions and shit because they don't want to get exposed. Yeah. But with that, I appreciate you, big homie.
Thank you.
If you real quick, you got anything for the people? You want to shameless plug? You selling plants? I know you selling plants.
Right now,
do what you do.
Right now, I'm on hold on selling plants, but that will be back in soon. And yeah, I'm going to shameless plug. I'm going to shameless plug for you. Y'all spread this out, share this out. we're really wanting this stream in particular to be as big as it possibly can, and y'all know that's not going to happen without your help. So this is me shamelessly asking y'all for y'all's help to
I
share this
appreciate
out,
it,
get
man.
this word out there, help this man out, and to get more people on so that we can actually not be so candid or have to bite our tongue and worries that, oh, I said I don't use Prime, I'm going to be, blasted by the rest of the community.
Man, ain't nobody here for that. Man, ain't nobody here for that. Like with this stream here, y'all got to, we talk about life, and we did. I didn't know a lot of that shit. I thought I knew you. I did.
Yep.
To where it's like, shit, I'm finna spend some gas or fly up there to go romp around the woods and shit. I'm coming back with some meat. But
Heck yeah.
I appreciate it, man. Sundays, check us out on Fish Planting Moss as well. We got a good guest coming up on the show. Also, Instagram, Warrior Planet Tanks, Silver Creek on Instagram as well. Having the fall flash sale, y'all. It's coming. The hurricane kind of screwed up shipping, so
Is that
I
on
have a
your website?
contingency plan. Yep.
I'm about
Already. Y'all have a good, blessed, safe Labor Day weekend. Wear white if you want. I am. I don't give a fuck. And y'all be blessed, man. Tommie, you got anything?
Nope. I'm just about to post your website.
Already. I appreciate y'all, man. Love you guys. Y'all be blessed. Peace.